YouTube video. I've been meaning to do YouTube for the longest of time ever, and I thought this would be a perfect time to share with you my experience of going through IVF and egg sharing. I promise 2021 to be very consistent with this and to make sure I keep you guys updated throughout the whole process with the most up-to-date information. If you have any questions or anything along the way, you're more than welcome to pop them down in the comments box and I will be sure to answer. So I plan to do the videos in diary parts to make sure it's most informative for you all, so you all get the full experience of what we're going through. So first stages of obviously what made us look into this was I was off the contraceptive pill for a while, just because it's not very good to be on it for long periods of time for your body. I don't feel like doctors actually really give you so much the side effects of long term of the pill. So I was off it for a while. In the back of my mind, I always thought, oh God, I already know I'm fertile because I already have a daughter. So I kind of knew that eventually I would have probably got pregnant, I guess. But obviously within this meantime, as I would had the conversation to say that we think it is time to start trying a little bit more seriously, but we both said that we didn't want to be that couple who get obsessed with it, because I know obviously you can easily get drawn into that. Obviously we're trying something what you really want. So at first couple of months we were fine, just doing it willy-nilly, but then we looked more into it deeply. So I actually have the Flow app where we're tracking my ovulation dates. I even ended up buying the ovulation strips, so I guess we did get quite obsessed with it in the end, I guess you could say, and it just wasn't happening. So at end of each month, when you had your fingers crossed and you think, oh, we've done everything we possibly can this month, and hoping obviously for a positive test, it just wasn't happening. And it's quite upsetting, I guess, at each end of the month when you actually do come on your period, because you know you're doing this for both of you, and you know I felt a bit like, oh, again, and obviously having to give the information of no, it hasn't happened this month. And yeah, it does take a little bit of a toll, but we are very both positive people, so we didn't let it get us down. So we then decided to contact the doctors for some further tests, because we just thought it's a bit hard. Like usually the period is like a year of trying, and usually fall pregnant after a year, but obviously it hadn't happened. So we went for extra tests. I had the ultrasound scan and a blood test through the doctors, and Sonny had a sperm analysis test. My results come back absolutely fine. The doctor outlined that for my age of being 24, there was plenty of eggs and they looked absolutely fine, so I shouldn't have any issues with getting pregnant. On the other hand, Sonny's results didn't come back as hoped. The sperm analysis actually said his sperm was kind of low, and we couldn't really understand why, other than obviously just your average like lifestyle changes, so stopping smoking, eating healthier, that sort of thing, so which he put into place straight away, obviously with increasing our chances at all. But when he called his doctors for a I guess like some feedback of the results, the doctor wasn't very helpful. Just said do lifestyle changes for the next 6 months, for the next year, but because of the results we decided, we wasn't very happy with the information. So he called around like Birmingham's Children's Hospital, that sort of thing, to get some more information of what they thought, and the nurse he spoke to very much said to him, obviously due to results you kind of got two options: contact my doctors back and ask for a referral to the hospital to do further tests, to look at the route of IVF with them, or obviously going through IVF privately. So I, the next day, called my doctors, spoke to my doctor, who was absolutely lovely, did her best, I guess you could say, for our referral. But because I already have a daughter from a previous relationship, the NHS weren't willing to help us do further tests, which at first I thought was very unfair, because obviously with being with a new partner, I guess, obviously situations change over time, your body changes, that sort of thing can happen. But after a couple of days, obviously information sank in, and you know, I thought to myself, there is women out there who don't have any children, so I am lucky to have at least one child. So from there was when we did our research into some IVF clinics. I did the initial research. So I looked in the West Midlands, preferably Birmingham, because that is where we are based. I come across 4 different clinics in the region, so I called them all. Also helpful, so lovely, giving all the information they can, but it's just choosing that right one you feel like you want to go with, which you get the best vibe from. So I got all the information I could, left it a couple of days, we both sat down, did some more research online, of reviews, of pregnancy pass rates, that sort of thing. But we came across one called Create in Solihull, Birmingham. We noticed that they did something a little bit different than the other IVF clinics. They offered something called mild IVF, which was obviously, at the time, the whole IVF thing was a minefield to us both anyway. So we were just getting our heads around how it works, etc, etc. But the fact that they offered the less drugs version of the IVF, I guess you could say, not being all scientific, it seemed better for the body, I guess. But like I say, obviously we were kind of clueless to it at this point, so we were just doing very much our research. But we decided to go with Create. I will pop them down in the box below if you did want to have a look at them and have a look at their website. It is very informative. It has prices on there, it has reviews on there, it has a fair lot of information on there if you wanted to have a look. So we decided to go with Create. So I booked the initial consultation with Create. That was booked for the 11th of December, which wasn't, I think we had like a 3-week wait or something like that, so it wasn't long at all. So I went for the scan to start off with. So we went to Create in Solihull. Unfortunately, Sonny couldn't come in with me because the whole corona situation, having too many people in the waiting room. I was a little bit nervous, but it was absolutely fine. The staff there were so nice, so warm and welcoming. But the scan itself was so good, it was amazing. It was like a long probe that obviously goes inside of you. I obviously initially thought it was going to be like an ultrasound scan like I had with the NHS, but this was a lot more in depth, a lot more invasive. But it was great because you could see everything what was going on down there. The doctor showed me my left side of my ovaries, my right side of my ovaries, and you could see my egg reserve. I think I had like 17 eggs on one side and 20 something eggs on the other side, so even he said at that point, like, you have a very good egg reserve. Asking me questions about my daughter's birth, that sort of thing, just getting like a picture of an idea of what they're going to be working with. So then after the scan, obviously we went home. A couple of days after, we had a Zoom consultation with our doctor to go through the results. Obviously we had to send off Sonny's sperm analysis results to them as well, so they could review those. And the doctor was so helpful as well, so nice, answered any questions which we had, and she recommended the path of IVF and something called ICSI. It's spelled ICIS. it's basically a procedure where they will take out certain sperms out of obviously test tube, pot, whatever you want to call it, once the procedure's going on, and they will insert the best sperms they find into my eggs, and then obviously it will go from there. So that is the form of IVF that she decided was the best for us to go for. Again, after the consultation, we were given information, I guess. I think because it was so new to us both, it was just like we've been given all this information, we've taken it all in, and it was like a bit like, whoa. So obviously after the consultation, we sat down and had our own conversations, and then about an hour after, we had a patient coordinator call us. He went through any questions which we may have had after the consultation, and she was great, she was really helpful as well. But I had also noticed on the Create website they offered something called egg sharing. So I thought to myself, what if I gave the chance to other women to have some of my healthy eggs so they can have the chance to have their child too? I just generally felt like when each month came, when we were trying and it just wasn't happening, like the way you feel inside, you just feel like, oh, and I can't imagine what women out there who don't have the egg reserve that I do obviously do feel. So that's something I definitely considered. I wanted to do. So I mentioned that to our patient coordinator, and she said due to results and from what our doctor said, she can't see a reason why we couldn't do that. So that was really good and really positive. That's something what I am really looking forward to, but I will cover that further on in the video as well. So yeah, so we had our patient obviously scan, the initial consultation. After speaking to the patient coordinator, we kind of had our next steps emailed to us of what we wanted to do if we wanted to carry on with the IVF. Obviously after thinking about it, talking about it, thinking of all the things that are going to happen, the cost, timescales, etc, etc, we both just said, yeah, this is what we want, so we are going to go forward with it. So then we went through the list of the consultation of what was sent to us. So sorry, the next steps that were sent to us. So it's things like getting more blood testing, all these tests such as virology tests, thyroid tests, rubella tests, and obviously if I wanted to go ahead with the egg sharing, I would need genetics testing too. Which we had booked in then for the following week. I think our appointment was on the 31st of December, which was a couple of days ago. So we went back to the Create clinic to have our following tests so we could go ahead with the treatment. And the doctor actually said to Sonny to have another sperm analysis. Just as it's been a couple of weeks, I think it's been around about a month or two since he had the last one done. So when we went on the 31st, he had another test done. I had all the blood tests done which was needed. Again, Create were amazing. We got the results from all the tests we had done on the same day. Everything come back absolutely fine. Results from the sperm analysis test actually came back higher than what was originally given from the NHS, which is fantastic. But the rates were still lower than what it would be for someone to obviously conceive naturally pregnant. So we are still going ahead obviously with the IVF and the ICSI treatment. So as mentioned, a little bit more information about the egg sharing. As far as I'm aware, and what I have been told from the patient coordinator and from our doctor, what will happen with that is during our egg retrieval, they will take around about 10 eggs, say. 5 of those eggs will be for our IVF, and then the other 5 eggs which they have will be donated. But it's a long kind of winded process, because the families or the women or the couples, whatever, who are having my eggs have to look through my profile Obviously they'll see that I'm brunette, that I'm mixed race, that sort of thing, and if my profile fits of what they're looking for, then they will decide to take my eggs. But then also obviously having to go for all these genetic tests, which was mentioned what we're waiting for. So yeah, so it can be quite a lengthy process. Obviously we are having to wait to see who wants my eggs, basically, and to make sure the tests are fine. But I also have to sign like a document to say that I am giving my eggs away. Whatever children are born from me giving my eggs, when they are 18, I can give my consent, or I can say no to them tracing me, finding out about myself. I don't think that I'm able to trace them, but they're more than welcome to trace me if they want to. I guess that's one of the things to consider as well if you are looking at egg sharing. Obviously I've had to consider that myself. I guess I would be very much happy for them to seek me out, I guess, to find out a little bit more about me and what my life entails. But the main thing is just obviously giving families out there that chance to, you know, have a healthy child as well. I hope you enjoyed watching the video today. I did try to leave out all the sciencey things because, as you can tell, I'm not great with that. That's more Sonny's forte. I can just explain what I understand and obviously what I know is going on. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions or anything like that, or any information you want to give to me to look into, you are more than welcome to. I'm happy to take everything on board. I hope to see you all in the next fertility diaries, which will hopefully be out in the next couple of weeks, when we know a little bit more of what's going on with the genetics. So hopefully I will see you then. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you. Bye.